All right, what is up, everybody? Frank Red, locked in the dungeon once again. A little earlier tonight, I want to thank everybody out there who's joining me on the particular program. I really appreciate it. Like I said before, I have been watching so much video on Kobe Bryant, and Kobe's no longer with us, man, but he dropped so much knowledge, and it's really had an impact on me because as great as he was, it was really about his work ethic that propelled his greatness. And even after he finished playing basketball, Kobe was on to the next thing that he wanted to do, and he put forth tremendous dedication and commitment towards being successful. So I want to do that within the Dungeon program. Once again, my name is Frank Red, and we're going to go for about an hour tonight. There's so much to talk about. Hit me up at Big Frank Red on Twitter, and hit the subscribe button. Also, if you have not joined the particular program, we're stuck on 69. We want to move off that 69 subscriber list on our road towards 100. All right? We've come to the end of the NBA Summer League season, and it's kind of like college in a lot of ways. By the time you're a senior in college, that last semester, no matter how much fun you've had, no matter how successful you've been, you're ready to go. And, you know, it was kind of interesting. It was a championship, right? And yet, there was a lot of empty seats in Las Vegas. Because people were ready to get the hell out of there. No question about that. Give Cleveland credit, though. Cleveland were victorious over the Houston Rockets, who I thought had a great summer. They both did. Particularly Isaiah Mobley, the older brother of Eric Mobley, the stud forward for the Cleveland Cavaliers, played his tail off. He really did this summer. I always go back to everything starts, in my opinion, with being in shape. And when he came out of college, Isaiah, he was a little chunky. And that's okay if you're out there living your life. But if you want to be an NBA player, you got to be in tip-top shape. And somebody talked to him, somebody got to him, and he's in tremendous shape. And as a result, he was able to, I think, reach his full potential. He had a fantastic summer. There's no doubt about that. So definitely want to big him up for that. Let me check something for 1 second. 1 2 1 2. Okay. I wanted to make sure my mic was working, and I assume that it is. If it's not, hit me in the chat. Let me know. But I think the mic's working. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit, just to wrap it up, about the summer. And there's a particular topic that I want to talk about that nobody's really talking about, and it's about culture. It's about culture. I was watching Imani Bates, who has a history, not all of it's positive. The young man who played on the Cleveland Cavaliers summer league team played really, really well. Was a stud out of high school. Went to a couple of colleges, and was caught with a gun, which is never a good thing. We know about that. And even Cam Whitmore, who blasted into the 20th pick by the Houston Rockets when he was projected to be a lottery pick. Now, he wound up being the MVP of the Summer League. And I don't know how much weight you can put on that, but I think what he did establish is that he can play at this level. And I think that's number one. Even before you think about what your role is on a particular team, you have to establish that you can play. I think Cam Whitmore did that this summer. how much he'll play this year on a pretty loaded Houston Rockets team with a lot of talented wings. I don't know, but he's definitely better than the 20th pick. But I was talking to a good friend of mine this afternoon because there was a lot of teams that had an opportunity to draft him and they didn't do it. And my friend was talking about, well, is he a cultural fit? And I think sometimes that term is thrown out almost too much. You know what I'm saying? Because it implies that there's some stereotyping going on. And I applaud these professional organizations that spend a lot of money doing research. So they kind of know who they're bringing into their organization, and I get it. But I think in certain cases, you have to be willing to allow people to grow. And it's just a conversation, because I think that sometimes some lives can be ruined based on mistakes that people might have made when they were younger. And as a result, they never get the opportunity to show the public that they're different than the stereotype or the actions that they exhibited. All right. So it's something I'm thinking about. Do you think that sometimes people relying on what is and what is not a cultural fit, is that too much? I mean, do organizations hurt themselves by always relying on that? And interesting to talk about that. I also want to talk about a sneaky, significant move for the Golden State Warriors. Jerome Robinson, a guy who's played on the Warriors G League team for the past couple of years, really hasn't gotten a look with the big clubs. But Jerome Robinson is a really, really good player. And, the Warriors signed him to an invite contract, to be in their training camp. And it wouldn't surprise me if he flashes, because he's a former first-round draft pick. He was drafted 13th overall by the LA Clippers. And I think when he came into the NBA, he wasn't ready. Didn't play any defense. Maybe didn't go full speed all the time. And 2 years after that 2-year guarantee was over, he was out of the league. And he never quite got back. And he's probably about 25, 26. This is probably his last go-round. I think it actually helped him not playing for the Warriors Summer League team. Because I think that they know his talent, and I think that he knows what he needs to do. And I'm rooting for the guy. I remember talking to Zena Kita, a broadcaster for the Santa Cruz Warriors, on Twitter. I didn't actually talk to her. But we were exchanging, tweets, and I was telling her that, I thought Jerome Robinson was good enough to play in the NBA, and I still feel that way now. So he's going to get his opportunity to at least show the Warriors organization what he has. And I'm definitely rooting for him. I think Brandon Podzinski is going to spend some time in the G League, and that might open up some opportunities for some other players. Now, it's not the worst thing in the world that Brandon spent some time in the G League, because this is Moses Moody's 3rd year. And I think at this point, the consensus is he's ready to contribute. But he spent a lot of time in the G League also. So, not the worst thing in the world. He didn't have a great summer. But to go down to the G League, this is what I think. And I don't know this for sure, but I think he will. But to go down there and regain his confidence and work on his skills could put him in a position to have success down the road. I think that's the most important thing. Trace Jackson Davis, I think it's a different story. If he plays in the G League this year, I would be really, really surprised. I think he's ready to contribute now. I mean, he has good hands, strong, good rebounder, can catch lobs, and I think he is going to help the Golden State Warriors this year. There's also been some rumblings about Chris Paul. I think most of us just assume that at this stage of Chris Paul's career, he would be willing to kind of transition to the second unit for the Warriors. It makes all the sense in the world. But I think we start to get some thoughts during the summer league interviews that maybe he's not totally comfortable with coming off the bench. And it seems crazy to me because I think all it would do is prolong Chris Paul's career. But if he doesn't want to fit in that role, it's going to be tough. It's really going to be tough. And now you're starting to see various trade scenarios involving Chris Paul, maybe going to the Clippers with any assortment of Warrior players, and PG, Paul George, coming to the Golden State Warriors. Now, I think it's far-fetched. I don't think that it's going to happen, but it's interesting to talk about. And it's not out of the realm of possibility because I think that Paul George probably wants an extension. He's extension eligible. And due to the fact that he and Kawhi Leonard have really not been the healthiest players, they have not been available. I don't know how interested the Clippers are in extending hundreds of millions of dollars to either one of those guys at this point. But keep your eye on that. If you have any thoughts about Chris Paul actually not ever wearing a Golden State Warrior uniform and being traded, feel free to comment on that. Now, we're pretty much done with basketball. Although, I'm sure starting this week, the game, the college tour, if you will start to play out on ESPN this weekend. I love basketball, so I can watch it until football officially starts. But we are slowly but surely migrating towards the start of NFL training camps. And I wanted to talk about the NFL for a second. The NFL is the richest league, right? And literally somebody snapped their fingers and said that, you know what? We're not going to pay running backs. SG, what's up, brother? And it feels like collusion to me. That's what it feels like. Of all the positions that they picked, they've decided collectively, the NFL, that they don't want to pay running backs. And I'm doing very, very well. And thank you for asking. How are you doing? And it really upsets me because do running backs work any less hard? Is any position player working harder than running backs? I think Isaiah Pacheco, the hard running back for the KC Chiefs, I think that was an aberration last year. That dude, literally, he's one hard hit from being injured. He doesn't even make a lot of money. He's drafted in the 7th round, and he runs he runs a football like he got a plane to catch, man. Like he's OJ in the airport. Unbelievable how hard he runs. But he's not really being compensated for the production that he's putting on the field. I'm disappointed in the Giants and how they dealt with Saquon Barkley because Wellington Mara, RIP, the original owner of the Giants, went to Fordham. He should come to my basketball games. And the Giants are recognized as a phenomenal organization. This is not representative of who they are, as far as I'm concerned. What do they think they're going to do without Saquon Barkley? Do you really want the best player on your team your number one leader, it's not Daniel Jones, it's Saquon Barkley. Do you want that guy upset, emotionally distraught? Crazy. Mark Graves, thank you. He says that's brutal. The running back get hit as much as anyone on the field. Yeah, and you know what? They not only get hit, but these guys are productive. I mean, there's only two running backs in the entire NFL who's making real big money at this point. That's Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara. Just those two guys. They make about $16 million a year. You're not going to pay Saquon Barkley $15 million a year and literally position him like he's being greedy? I mean, that's terrible to me, man. Josh Jacobs, the Raiders didn't even guarantee his third year. Didn't even guarantee his third year, which is something you do with a player who you assume is not going to be a part of your organization long term. All he does last year is goes out and has some of the the highest touch level of any player in the NFL and rush for over 1,500 yards. And they tag him. I mean, he's probably not going to show up. He's probably not going to show up until maybe like a week or so before the season starts. I've been a San Francisco Giants fan for 9 years, since 14. Good for you. You came on board at the right time when they started winning, right? Started winning world championship. Good for you, brother. You know what? Low-key, the Giants are one of the best stories in all of Major League Baseball. I follow them. I don't follow them that closely. A lot of my friends do. There's enough. There's a lot of Giants talk out there. I'll follow it when we get close to the playoffs. If the Giants make the wild card, then I'll definitely start to follow it. But just on a surface level, they've done a hell of a job. They've done a great job at managing their expenses, playing the veteran players, believing in the veteran players, and injecting youth that are really ready to step up and take leadership positions. So, the antithesis of the Oakland A's. All right. So Giant fans, I know there's a lot of you out there. I'm happy for you, man. I am. I'm happy for Giant fans because they're balling. And that's a good look. My man William. Hey Frank, I'm here right now. Show support. I'll have a question in a minute. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. And SG, I thank you for your suggestions. And we're going to do a lot of different things, man. It takes a little time. But like I said at the beginning of the show, I don't know if there's something about the number 69, but we've been stuck on 69 in terms of subscribers for quite a while. So, if you like the show, tell somebody to subscribe or check it out, all right? Mark says, why wouldn't the Giants want a premier running back to try and control the game and have a QB who is... That's a great point. And their coach, Daboll, is very kind of like Belichickian, very Bill Parcellsian. So I'm sure he's shaking his head. I mean, he's going to be a company guy, but he's shaking his head saying, what? You want me to do what without Saquon Barkley? It just doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense. When you look at how much money the NFL makes, Saquon played, 14, 15 games last year? I mean, you can't assume that he's going to get hurt. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I was trying to say Daniel Jones. I kind of got the message. And Mark, it's interesting because I like Daniel Jones. I like him. You know, I think he wants to win. I think he's a pretty good leader, but he's a system quarterback. Is what he is. He's not a guy who's going to take it over himself and win games for you right now. He can make a lot of plays. He can run. He's fearless. I think he's a team guy. There's a lot of good things to say about Daniel Jones. But what made the Giants different last year was Saquon Barkley. I mean, he broke containment when the defense was right there. It didn't matter. And, I mean, yo, man, you never look at Saquon Barkley on the football field and question whether or not he's playing hard. Never. So, as a New York Giants fan growing up, I'm disappointed because it's narrow-minded to me. I think it's totally, and with the 49ers might have had an inkling to go to Christian McCaffrey and say, hey, rework the contract and take less money. They didn't do that. Christian McCaffrey's put up big numbers, and he's making a salary that he deserves. He's making $16 million a year. But can you definitively say that Christian McCaffrey is a better player than Saquon Barkley? No, I can't. They're the same level as far as I'm concerned. They both deserve to make $16 million a year. SG says, I'm planning to go to Oakland Athletics into the Giants game with my friend. Oh, man. How the tickets, dude? That's going to be a fun evening. William says, the Shanahan-led Broncos used to believe running backs were, yeah. Yeah, but the Giants have no history in that. The Giants were terrible when Saquon Barkley was hurt the previous couple of years. His rookie year when he flashed, they were interesting. I mean, part of having a good team is being interesting. Are the Giants interesting without Saquon Barkley? No, they're not. They're not. Jones is a good athlete for a quarterback for sure, but his ceiling is just that. The arm is very average. Not a good arm. It's not a great arm. He got a good arm. But if you look at the Giants' history, the Giants have won with quarterbacks who were good leaders but not great. Phil Simms was not a great player. Phil Simms was a good player, and they played in a different era of football. But he was 6 foot, 6'1", was not fast. By today's standard, Phil Simms, I'm not going to say he'd be average because I think mentally he really was a great leader and he knew what he was doing. He didn't have great physical skills. Jeff Hostetler won the Super Bowl. He didn't have great talent. So I think Daniel Jones has enough talent when you put good players around him. I could say Saquon Barkley. The Oakland A's are having a rough season so far, 25-71. And rightfully so. I mean, it's really embarrassing. They might have the worst record in the history of baseball. I'm not rooting for that, but am I disappointed by it? Absolutely not. It just, what it does, it punctuates how horrible this organization is. And I love the Oakland A's, the green and orange, the pageantry associated with this franchise. I love everything about that. But what they're doing to fans, for Manfred to come on television and with a straight face tell people that the fans are not supporting this organization. Are you out of your mind? Really? 25-71. Come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah, that is true. Simms wasn't a quarterback. He just knew how to win. He was great in Parcells' system. Yeah. And I think Daniel Jones has proven that he's pretty darn good in Daboll's system, But they need Saquon Barkley. And this was a colossal failure as far as I'm concerned. Even psychologically, if you are a talented running back like Saquon, you're going to start to protect yourself because you're thinking to yourself right now, I'm not going to be here long term. I don't have $25, $30 million guaranteed. I got to look out for myself. I can't leap in the air and catapult myself and potentially have somebody cut me up and then rip my knee apart. I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed by that. You know, we're going to talk about and Josh Jacobs. I'm not surprised by the Raiders. I'm not surprised by that. Just not surprised. I don't trust Josh McDaniels. I just don't. I do not trust him. I mean, even with like John Gruden. I mean, hey man, I'm thinking to myself about John. I mean, Mark Davis did not want to fire John Gruden, and had he not fired him, I would have been okay with it. To be quite honest with you, and it might sound strange. You would never hear the things that came out of John Gruden's mouth come out of my mouth. We are responsible for our own words, but I don't put anybody's character above my own. I don't. And I always look at how people treat me. If John Gruden said something to me that was disrespectful, I would check him. And even Dolores Smith, the things he said about him, I would love for Dolores and John Gruden to be in a room and kind of talk that thing out, you know? And then he might have been like, you know what? I apologize. I'm not racist. I said something that is racist. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what the conversation would be about. But the more and more I think about it, I don't know if I would have fired John Gruden. I don't know if I would. I mean, if I tell you some of the things that coaches have said to me in my life, you'd be like, whoa. It didn't matter to me because it wasn't true. You know? And then the fact that Gruden said those things theoretically in a private environment, I don't like how they took his horrible language and then made it public. And when you know that there are other people who've probably done things, they're not probably in it, have done things in their lives and said things that are horrible under the pretense that nobody would ever find out about it. So I think NFL did John Gruden wrong, personally. I do. It doesn't absolve him from saying what he said. Those are his words. He has to honor that. He has to be accountable for his words. But I don't like the sham job that I think took place with John Gruden. I don't like it. Josh McDaniels to me was kind of a replacement. I just don't have a lot of faith in Josh McDaniels. I don't. All right. Got any thoughts about NFL up to the season? Feel free to hit me up in the chat. And she says the Bay Bridge series might be one of the most legendary matchups between the greatest. Really? I don't know about that. I think the Bay Bridge series is important to Giant and A's fans. Outside of that universe, I don't think anybody really cares. I don't. Local A's owner John Fisher is an absolute moron. I'm not a fan. You know, I don't call people names and stuff like that. But I'm upset how he's treated the fans. I think he's done a horrific job treating hardworking people, loyal fans, the way that he has. When Joe Lacob, the owner of the Warriors, has all but said, if the team is available, we buy it. So again, this is not unlike David Stern going up to Sacramento and saying, listen, the Luke brothers, you got to go. The team is not going anywhere. If you and you're going to sell the team. David Stern, he essentially did everything within his powers to have a change of ownership in the Sacramento Kings. He did everything he could do, and guess what? He was successful. And RIP to David Stern, but to me, the most resounding, the lasting thing that he did to promote the NBA is keep the Sacramento Kings in Sacramento, because they would be somewhere else. Maybe not Vegas, because I don't think at that time they were allowing teams to go to Vegas, but Seattle. The Lutz wanted to take them anywhere but Sacramento. And David Stern said, no, I'm not going to allow you to do that. If Manfred told John Fisher, you know what, dude, you got to sell the team, there would be more than a few owners ready to buy that team and keep them in the Bay Area, the East Bay. And I think they belong in Oakland. I mean, this idea that somehow they would go down to San Jose, the Giants will want them down there, and I don't think they should go down there. I mean, I think they're in the perfect place. And unfortunately, it looks like that's not going to happen. Williams says, NFL sweeping room under the rug to protect themselves. Yeah, man. Cold-blooded. It really is. It is cold-blooded. And the NFL represents so much money to the networks. They're only going to go so far. You know, ESPN will do their 30-30s, and they'll kind of, they'll dance around the edges. But they're not going to go so far, because the NFL is the cash cow. It really is. I mean, and one of the things that we learned about sports and the pandemic, you guys turn on ESPN during the pandemic, crickets. All those fancy studios that they have and those good-looking anchors, it didn't mean anything. They didn't have any content. They had zero content. They are depending upon content to make money. And as I said in the previous podcast, I think that's partly why a lot of the ESPN layoffs happen, because they know they're going to have to pony up a lot of cash to maintain these sports properties. Now, there's a silver lining, though. There's a silver lining in a lot of these really talented people being laid off. And what that is that I think everybody is kind of surprised how good people are at content creation. Probably a lot better than they assumed that they would be. They just assume that, like, oh yeah, they need a studio, they need a producer, they need 19,000 producers. No, they don't. I'm a big fan of watching cricket. Really? Okay. Maybe even start some content. Okay. I challenge anybody to do it. You know, I talk about it, and I'm gonna keep talking about it, because what you will find is creating content, a challenge. But it's a good challenge. And the more you do it, the better you become. I love that about it. And it's fun. And I think that everybody is starting to realize that that's really the way to go. Even somebody like a Stephen A. Smith, who's making $12 million a year as a network employee, it looks like he's having more fun doing the Stephen A. show his podcast. Using his brand, using his Rolodex. The production value is really low. It don't cost a whole lot of money, and he's doing his thing. Ryan Clark, Pivot Podcast. Paul George has more money than we can even count, but he has a podcast. Podcast P, which is really, really good. So we're learning that we can be entertained and enthralled by people producing content, and it's really not about the net worth. They play a role in it, but not as big a role as they used to. Hey Frank, you should visit India, which is such a beautiful country. It has so much great history, culture. Yeah, and one of my best friends, one of my mentors, the gentleman who is of Indian heritage, who lives in Thailand. I go to Thailand. I should do basketball camps in Thailand, and this gentleman has always talked about he and I going to India, to his home country, to check it out. So maybe I will. I'm not all that interested at this stage of my life, sitting on a plane for 16, 17 hours. That's not something that I really want to do, but to check that country out and to see all that it has to offer, so much beauty. I would like to do that. I also have a lot of friends here who are obviously American citizens who live in the United States, who are friends of mine who are Indian, and I'm interested in culture. So thank you for your suggestion. I appreciate it. Mark Graves. I'm not a fan of the ESPN shows that have the whole Shiel. It's not a style I care for. I dig it. You know what, Mark? You appear to be pretty in tune to what's going on in sports, and it's all stick, man. That's all it is. That's all it is. And again, I'll give you. I keep bringing his name up because he's at the top of the list, Stephen A. Smith. But I remember when Stephen A. started, and I always say, when people say, because Stephen A. yells and stuff, but when Stephen A. was a beat writer, I remember being in the locker room with Stephen A. Smith in Sacramento. And this is pre-social media, right? Where you literally, as a beat writer, you had to go into the locker room, get a couple of quotes, and literally, like a telegraph, make sure that your story got to wherever it was going. Whatever city it was going to by a certain time, maybe 3 o'clock, 3:30, I'm not quite sure. Stephen A. was a church mouse. He said nothing. He was as professional as anybody worked in this industry. And then, when he got on television, this iteration of Stephen A. emerged because he benefited from it. But I'm going to say look beyond the surface with Stephen A. I think the arrogance is this part of the stick. Think about this. Think about this for a second. This is a guy who was fired from ESPN, right? With nothing, got fired. Had a show, had it canceled because of Skip Bayless, came back, and the rest is history. This dude makes $10 to $12 million a year. He's a beat writer. Pretty amazing. And the other thing is, Stephen A. has a voice of who's on that show and who's not on that show. So I think the brother's real loyal too. I'm sure it could be, not if you ask Max Kellerman, but everything that we see on television, I don't think is truly representative of who Stephen A. Smith is. I don't like the yelling. I think he could, make his point. He's very articulate. He's well prepared. But I get you, Mark. I definitely get you. right. Those shows attract casual fans. Yeah. I know Stephen A. from back in his Philly days. Yeah, he was always cool as cat and never really raised his voice. Yeah, nah, man. Listen. I remember talking to him. I remember walking out of Arco Arena. He's a guy who hit it right at the right time, and good for him. He's bringing his sister into the fold. I mean, she's on television promoting her brand. And here's the thing: no matter how successful you are in entertainment, at some point, your boss is going to come to you and say, "We don't want you to come back tomorrow." That's how it is. So, this is his moment. He's maximizing his moment, getting into acting and doing a whole bunch of stuff. And more power to him. It's not going to last forever. Yes. So they are just characters on a show. Yeah. You see Richard Jefferson? You think Richard Jefferson really, Richard Jefferson is a little over the top. But that's his stick. Everything's funny. It's funny. Kendrick Perkins is kind of a little grumpy. Dude. They all have a lane. Wojnarowski, everything is the most important information you've ever heard in your life. Well, a Rose bomb. Zion Williamson had a po' boy, shrimp po' boy for lunch. I mean, come on, man, really? Oh, here we have another Woj bomb. I don't like squash. Stephen Curry doesn't like squash. I mean, come on, really? It's a show, dude. Think about this. How do you become an insider? What annoys you more than anybody else to become an insider? It's all part of the script. They gotta have insiders. Think about the shows that we're watching. That is a segment that millions of people are tuning into. Adrian Wojnarowski has some information. Television, man. That's all it is. All it is. We get this right, Rob. He said, I used to have him on a couple of sports shows I produced in Boston. Wow. He's always very nice. Never push you anything. Talking about Stephen A, I assume. Because that was my experience with Stephen A. SG, cool, man. He said, SG, I am an Indian American myself, and I'm so proud of my heritage. Cool, man. Yeah. Listen, I'm not going to say it, but I have friends of all ethnicities who I love. I'll just say that. Otherwise, I'll sound stupid. Oh, one of my best friends in the world is Indian. One of my best friends is black. I mean, come on, really, stop it. You get a sense of people, and you get a sense of, is this person inviting? Is he or is she or they the type of person that I feel that I can have a nice conversation with if I saw him on the street? Hopefully, I'm projecting that image. That's who I am, man. People are more alike than they are different. All right. And I think that the only way that you really find that out is if you travel. Most people don't even own a passport. Get out there and travel a little bit. You don't have to go to the glamour spots. Or, when I go to Thailand, I stay in a place $8 a day. $8 a day. As long as it has an air conditioning, I'm cool. And then I treat myself and stay at a nice place. Now, the school that I used to do camps at, they put me up in a resort in Phuket for a week. I'm not mad at that. Across the street from the beach, all my meals. Man, love that. You guys got some really good comments tonight, man. Love it. I feel successful. Read each copycats. Wow, great point, William. So if yelling makes money, guess what? I'm gonna start yelling. Yeah, it's true. But it's an old analogy, cliche, but it's true. Cream rises to the top. It really does. Now, you can hang around a long time, but you really can't fool the listeners and the viewers. If somebody is around for a really long time, it's because somebody wants them there. If you are authentic, then you're going to resonate with the listeners. And ultimately, if you get fired or you go away, the listeners are going to go with you. That's the beautiful thing about authenticity. It cuts through all of the political politics of any organization. If you are a talent and you express yourself in a way that resonates with people, that is genuine, they will follow you. They will stick with you. It really will. So, I would never want to be dependent on somebody so much to the extent that I felt like I had to walk around on pins and needles and not be myself. Nah, man. JJ Redick seems pretty straightforward. JJ Redick has a lot of things going for him. He's arrogant, which is really important. It's hard being successful on television or even on radio or any type of medium if you're not arrogant. You have to be arrogant. And JJ's arrogant. He's also very smart. He is also he's a bit of an erudite. I mean, I think his parents were like artists, so there are other things beyond basketball that he knows about that I think he can synthesize all the information and present it in a way that is truly authentic. Yeah, I think he sometimes oversteps his boundaries when he makes comments that are about culture that he doesn't quite understand. He might know a little bit, and he's been tripped up a little bit. And I think there's nothing wrong with learning. There's nothing wrong with learning. And if you make mistakes, say, "Yo, I apologize. I thought this was the case." You have a bright future. Would not surprise me if JJ Redick is in on the #1 NBA broadcast. If you take Jeff Van Gundy's spot, I think Doc Rivers is lurking also. I'm a little concerned about my boy Mark Jackson. I find it hard thinking Mark's going to be there. Hopefully he will. I don't know. I mean, a lot of times it doesn't matter if you have a contract, you still got to pay you. But I think JJ Redick is a rising star. There's no doubt about that. No doubt. Rob Brown says, used to have Kellerman on all the time on a boxing show I did in Vegas. Wow. He was always very articulate and never yelling or anything. Very cool dude. He's a hooper too. Wow. Always invited me to New York to hoop. That's dope, man. Yeah, you know what? I think Kellerman was he and Stephen A just didn't really see eye to eye. Max is a very talented dude. I mean, listen, is there a better analyst of boxing than Max Kellerman? I don't care what they do to Max Kellerman. He always has that. He knows boxing. That dude has studied boxing. I don't know if he can box or not, but he studies boxing. Now, did he take liberties with his basketball commentary? Yeah, he does. He don't really know basketball. I don't think he does. But he's really good on television. He's a really good kind of like facilitator of shows. He can do all that stuff. Max Kellerman is really talented. He's smart and he's funny. Again, guys like that will land on their feet. I didn't like the end of how the whole Stephen A thing transpired because it made Stephen A kind of the bad guy, and at the same time, it almost absolved Max Kellerman of everything, and there were probably some issues that led them up to going their separate ways. And Max landed on his feet. I thought, this just in, his show was well produced, it was well hosted, kind of fluffy, but that's okay. I mean, the casual fan wants information. You don't have to give them 3 layers below the surface. They just want to stay abreast of what took place yesterday. So Max Kellerman was a talented dude. Okay, SG. Indian women can be really gorgeous. How about all women can be gorgeous? Yeah, listen, man. Listen, they spread it. I mean, they spread beauty around, all right? Now, let me say this. I want somebody who's as beautiful on the inside as they are on the outside, all right? I mean, just because somebody looks good on the outside, you can have that, because that is not going to last. Look at us. You know what I'm saying? Beauty doesn't last. So, Indian women are beautiful. The young lady who's in Extraction 2 with Liam on Netflix, I believe she's no, I'm not going to say that. I don't know what her heritage is. Gaddafi or shit. I don't know. I'm not going to kill her name. But she is beautiful. Have you guys seen Extraction 2? That young lady who plays the counterpart to Liam's character? She is gorgeous. She really is. SG, thank you, man, for all your comments. I appreciate you. My man Williams says, the former NFL punter Pat McAfee just signed with Disney for a pretty hefty sum. So maybe a lot of people were laid off to make room for him. You know what? People said that, and he was like, yo, that's not true. It was not my fault. I think he got $85 million over like a 5-year period. He was actually making more supposedly with FanDuel, but ESPN is going to give him a much larger platform. He's probably going to be involved in their college football coverage in a larger role than he has been in the past. And again, I mean, hey, like I said before, if you are authentic and you have a fan base, they're going to follow you. So Pat McAfee didn't get that contract just because he was a nice guy. ESPN has done some metrics. They looked at the numbers, and he built fan base from the ground up, and now he's benefiting from it. So I don't think he is the cause of people getting laid off, because I think they expect to make their money back. Good movie. I think she is, not quite sure, William. Extraction 2 is really good. Extraction 1 was good, but I don't want to be disrespectful to her, so I don't want to go too far out there. But she's awesome. I love watching her. I love watching her on screen, and she's beautiful. Fearless and smart. Okay, so Pat does WWE as well. See, I didn't know that. I don't watch a lot of WWE. Yes. There you go. SG, this is your best comment of the night. Her name is, I don't have my glasses on. Golshita Farahani, who is, she is Iranian and French actress who was in the Extraction 2 with Chris Hemsworth. Right, there you go. I don't know the difference between the brothers, Liam and Chris. I don't know the difference. And he was absolutely, I think she is absolutely super beautiful. Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, Farahani. He's dope, man. If you haven't seen Extraction 2, check it out. I mean, if you don't have Netflix, do what I did. I waited until I went to go see my mom. My mom and my sister have it, so I checked it out there. But that was dope. You know what? This is an interesting transition. We can continue to talk about sports, but one of the things I wanted to talk about also, yeah, I know that's you. I know you mentioned. I was watching Mission Impossible this weekend. And this Mission Impossible is the best one out of all of them. This is really good. I don't know if you like going to the movies or, you know, you wait till it comes on, I don't know, one of the streaming services. But I really enjoyed it. I thought the script was excellent. And it got me thinking, because I have a movie buddy. I have a friend who basically the only thing we do is we go to the movies 3 or 4 times a month. And then we'll go out and get some dinner and kind of talk about the movies and just kind of enjoy each other's company, hang out. And that's, you know, that's the basis of it, right? But I was thinking that, you know, I personally believe there's only 2 movie stars left. Tom Cruise and Denzel Washington. That's it. I think Will Smith was there. But I think that the Chris Rock thing has kind of, you know, slowed him up a little bit. Yeah, I know there's going to be a part 2 of Mission Impossible as well. But I mean, Tom Cruise doesn't miss. You were talking about the guy's height, but he's a giant. I mean, Maverick was one of the best movies I've seen recently. That was awesome. Top Gun, Maverick. And this Mission Impossible is dope. And I assume they've already done part 2. One of the things about Mission Impossible that they did right, man, the women in that movie are absolutely gorgeous. They really are. And they're badass as well. So I really enjoyed that. I don't know if anybody has seen Mission Impossible, but I would recommend it. And Mark says that Indiana Jones is really good too. Okay, I might check that out this weekend though, based on your recommendation. But my man Rob says, yeah, I saw you said that earlier. I agree with that 1%. Yeah, Denzel and Tom are megastars. There aren't any other. Nah, there aren't. I mean, and here's the thing. I mean, I love Jason Bourne. I think Matt Damon, you know, he's a little older to play that role, but he can still do it. But I love that character. Matt Damon occasionally will kind of find himself playing an awesome character. And when he has an awesome character to play, he generally kills it. But he can be invisible in roles also. Denzel Washington is never invisible. In any role that he ever plays, Denzel takes that role and crushes it. And yeah, I mean, you know what? Tom Hanks is dope. I think everybody likes Tom Hanks, and he's a top performer. But I've never seen Tom Hanks play a bad guy. I mean, and I think Tom Hanks probably could. I would love to see him play some spy type of guy or some CIA type situation. I haven't seen him do that. I've seen Denzel pretty much do everything. Tom Cruise grabs the film, the camera, and says, "Look at me," like nobody else. And he's been doing it now for 30 years. There's literally only 2. Now, there's a distinction between being a movie star who can act and being a great actor. There are a lot of great actors out there. You know, almost too many to name. But movie stars, megastars, I contend that there are only 2. Tom Cruise and Denzel Washington. SG, I would really love to meet Christian McCaffrey in person to get his autograph and maybe even a photo. Why? How old are you, SG? How old are you? I assume you are an adult. And the reason why I say, like with autographs, is because I never want someone to be treated badly, you know? And it'd be awesome to encounter somebody who you admire and maybe not ask for an autograph right away because they kind of expect that. Athletes expect people to ask them for things. But, maybe you met Christian McCaffrey at the supermarket or something, and you guys developed some type of relationship, and you say, yo, dude, I really appreciate you, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you're 26. All right. Again, I just don't want you to have a bad encounter. And I think sometimes that can happen when it's not real natural. Christian McCaffrey seems like a great guy, though. But all superstar athletes are not great people. So I would hate for you to have to endure that. Saying that, I don't have any autographs. And all of my trophies that I had and mementos, when I turned 22, I broke them all and put them in the garbage. Didn't really mean anything to me anymore. Now, I don't suggest that you do that if you're a professional athlete. You have mementos and those things are really valuable. I'm not saying that, but mine were not valuable. They were important to me, maybe my mother when I grew up. I broke them all and put them in the garbage. It didn't mean anything to me. What meant something to me was the memories that I had. And when I encounter people, I pretty much met all my idols. Magic Johnson was one of my idols, and guess what? Magic Johnson is better in person than he is on television. So I'm like, wow, Magic's such a cool dude. Ronnie Lott, very nice man. Very cool dude, one of my idols. Hollywood really needed to get, Idris Elba bigger roles. He could have been a megastar. You know what? Rob, I agree with you, but it's interesting, man, because I hate to say it, but Hollywood kind of picks who they want. Idris kind of has, I don't know, he got that Teddy Pendergrass thing going on, man. That magnetism. I don't know if they want that type of magnetism. Idris got it going on, man. So, but I agree with you. I mean, yeah, you're right. And it's really about the role. It's really about the role. I'm still holding out that he gets a great role, man, because what a talent. He has it all going on. 6'2", good looking, still young enough, smart, trained. Yeah, I don't know if they want to give Idris that kind of power, dude. Oh, man. Was really hoping that Elba would be the new James Bond, but didn't work out. Yeah, you know what? I think he kind of wanted to do it, but I think he wanted everybody to be on board. And I didn't get the sense that everybody was on board. And as a result, I think he was like, you know what? Nah, because I got to be treated like I'm Daniel Craig in this mother. You know what I'm saying? The way you roll out the red carpet for Daniel Craig, you foam at the mouth. I need that type of love. And I don't think he got that type of love. I think it was like, yeah, well, we'll give you a chance. Maybe we'll see. And he's like, wait a minute. So it's interesting because I put something on Twitter and I was saying that I think there needs to be an original Black spy character. Get behind it. Write something interesting. I think I'm gonna start writing something. I think I am. Because all you got to do is really get behind it with a great script, and you have a character that can be around for the next 40 years. But Hollywood has to get behind it. Or any other entity that has some money and is open to fresh ideas. Daniel Craig was one of the most handsomest Bonds. I don't think that's a word, but I fumble sometimes. It's all good. Now, Daniel Craig was great, man. He was awesome. To me, he's one of my favorite Bonds. I mean, after Sean Connery, I see Daniel Craig is my next favorite Bond guy of all time. The closest thing they did was Undercover Brother. That was a parody. Yeah, that was a parody. Yeah, man, you know, I mean, Hollywood has a lot of power, dude. A lot of power. Some of you guys, I don't know if you guys have Amazon Prime, but I watch also Jack Ryan. Jack Ryan is excellent. Well written, well acted, and, you know, I mean, they couldn't create a character like that for Idris Elba. I mean, an excellent character. Excellent character. But they did it for John, what's his name? Krasinski? I don't want to butcher you guys' name. You know? Yeah, but Jack Ryan is an excellent, excellent show. So we've had a lot of fun, man. Just talking movies. It's all good. I also want to, and I think I talked to me and Rob earlier today about this. I want to send a big shout out and say RIP Guru of Gang Starr. A lot of you all might be listening who might not be familiar with Gang Starr. Gang Starr is, I think, one of the most important rap groups in the history of the art form. Let me answer the question. I finish my thought. I saw Luther. I think I saw the latest movie recently, and it wasn't that good. The characters were not developed very well, but I heard the series was really good, so I need to go back and check that out. Yeah, a lot of people keep glowingly about Luther, the series, but he did a movie, I think, with that character recently, about maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and I saw that. I was very disappointed because I didn't think it was, the story wasn't well developed, wasn't very good. So, as I digress, let me get back to my point about Guru of Gang Starr, one half of the legendary group Gang Starr. Guru died probably about, I don't know, was it 8 to 10 years ago? Maybe 10 years ago at this point. And the thing about Guru, Keith Elam is his name, he was like one of the early rappers that actually made being smart cool, you know? And it was hard breaking through because in music, just like in film, just like in comedy, you can always identify the lowest common denominator. What's going to get me the most laughs right away? What can I say in a song that's going to give me instant attention, shock value? What subject can I talk about on a podcast that's going to have people pay attention right away? Guru didn't do that. He actually created a lane that was not there. I mean, DJ Premier's production was incredible. He's still a great producer. It had a jazz feel to it. It made you just want to sit back and relax and listen to what he was saying. He had a real smooth delivery, a great voice, and the beats were awesome. And how many people copied off Gang Starr? Quite a few. And Guru was one of my idols. And again, I met most all my idols. I was doing a showcase one time, and Guru and DJ Premier were performing in this city, and they showed up to the showcase. Crazy. And at the end of the showcase, Guru comes up to me and he's like, "Yo, dude, I think you're dope." I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yo, I think you're dope." I'm like, "This is Guru." And he takes out, everybody had business cards then. He takes out a business card. He said, "I want you to call my manager." His manager at the time was Empire Management out of New York. And I called, left a message a couple of times, never heard anything back. But that didn't really matter. The fact that somebody who I admired so much thought that I had talent. That was enough. That was enough. So, yeah, man, I wish Guru was still around. He'd be 62 today. If he was around, he'd still be making music, still be making joints, still impacting the world. And yeah, man. He had the coolest lines, didn't he? Bebop Jones, what up? Lemonade was a popular drink and it still is. I gave more props to Bruce Willis. Yeah, that was dope, right? I mean, so many, man. So many joints. Tons of Guns. I think Just to Get a Rep is like my favorite. I mean, I love that song, love the video. Mass Appeal. I mean, come on, man. It's funny because I say this as an artist. You guys tell me if I'm right or wrong. Back in the day, even now, like Drake and a lot of these artists, like they put out so much music. And they put out so much music, and it's a situation where at the end of the day, no one's gonna listen to all that music at the end of the day. Gang Starr put out maybe about five albums, 6 albums. There's about 30 to 40 songs that they have done that I listen to all the time. I don't want to hear everything else. I just want to hear those 25 to 30 songs. The other stuff, I mean, I think that's true for every artist. So I guess what I'm saying is that you don't have to put out that many albums. It's cool if it's authentic. If you're just saying that I'm putting an album out because I have to meet a deadline, that's kind of whack. I think J. Cole, to me, has had the perfect career. In an era, in a time in music where the rule is you got to incessantly put out music. J. Cole has been very meticulous, very old school in terms of how he releases music. And he never misses. He never misses. Everything he puts out just adds to his classic discography. I would say Kendrick Lamar is very similar to that as well. I love that. I don't like to see artists just putting music out that doesn't live up to the standard that they've set for themselves. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's my opinion on that. Bebop, thank you, man, for your contribution. I appreciate it. All right, SG, my top 5 Golden State Warrior legends: Mully, Hardaway, Richmond, Thurman, and Barry. You ever heard of Curry? Huh? You ever heard of Curry? Come on, SG. Rob, Guru gave the greatest wordplay and substance in his lyrics. It was a lot like Rakim that way, yeah. He never was trendy. He just do his thing, kill it. Then there was nothing left, he said. Yeah, you know what? Word up. You know what? And it's funny you say that, Rob, because Guru has, at the beginning of one of the songs, he's kind of like talking, right? And he makes that point. He goes, yo, when I walk to a club and I see somebody famous, I don't run up to them and be all up in their face. I just say, yo, what's up? Peace. And I keep stepping. And that's basically an analogy. He was like, yo, this is who I am. I'm very normal. I do my thing. And if you dig it, you dig it. You know, I love that about him. I love that about him, man. Yeah, man. I miss Gang Starr so much, but I still have their music. I still play them a lot. But I just wanted to acknowledge Guru on his 62nd birthday. Their memory of Gang Starr's memorabilia is still as popular today as it was probably 20, 30 years ago. Amazing how loyal people are to Gang Starr. And they're building new fans also. So his heirs, I know DJ Premier talks about it quite a bit. He works with Guru's family, and they kind of do a good job selling memorabilia and keeping the legacy alive, which is kind of dope. Hey Frank, I really like you as a person. Always keeps it 100. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. If I'm projecting to you in a positive way, then I'm being successful because this is who I am. I'm not an actor. This is who I am. And authenticity means everything to me, man. I mean, not the big things, the little things that really count to me. All right, William, what's up? He said, there are film actors who put out a lot of movies. If you're good, you shouldn't have to. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio puts out a lot of good movies, man. I mean, for somebody who is pretty flamboyant, kind of a big personality, has a public life, been acting since he was a child. I give it up to him because he does good work. I mean, think of the range of movies that Leonardo DiCaprio has been in. The Wolf of Wall Street, and he did, and he was in Django. I mean, dude's had a brilliant career. What about the movie that he was in with Tom Hardy? Was that The Covenant? I'm not quite sure what that was. But Leonardo DiCaprio has had an awesome career. I really like what he's doing. Hello, Vicky. How are you? You mean Curry the golf? I don't know the context. Did I say something? Or are you talking to somebody else? Oh, you're talking about SG, I assume. Stephen Curry should be a professional golfer in the PGA. We'll see. Maybe he'll have a couple of years after. The Covenant. Okay, yeah, he was awesome in that. Yeah, man, Steph is different. He's different. I'm sure. Imagine being like his parents, Dell. I can't think of his mom's name right now. And they go, we did that? He's different. I mean, as amazing as that eagle putt was on 18, I'm going to tell you what was more amazing to me that Stephen Curry did this weekend. And he does it every year, but you don't have to make it every year. Remember somebody just handed him a basketball from like 25 feet outside on an outdoor rim. He just throws it up and knocks down the three from about 25 feet. That dude is awesome. And I just laugh. As great an organization as the Golden State Warriors are, and they are, they know how to run a business. I know, listen, Raymond Ritter, their media guy, head of media, is supreme. What a wonderful person. I mean, he's helped me out a gazillion times. That's my guy. And everybody within that organization is held to a real high standard. They do a great job. But the house was built by Steph Curry, okay? Steph Curry is the foundation of everything good that has happened to the Warriors. They know that. Kerr knows it. He always says it, and it's so true. What a wonderful pleasure it is for us to watch this guy play basketball. And not only play basketball, but to watch him be who he is. It's awesome. It really is. Vicky, I agree with you 100%. He is so special. We are lucky to have him here. Yeah, no question about that. Great dad. Stephen Curry has an adorable son. Yeah, Cannon, man. Yes, he was playing the special needs. Okay, I'm not. Okay, talking about the movie. Listen, I'm gonna say this. We've been on air for an hour and 20 minutes. I'm gonna stay for another 10 minutes. All right, and this has been my favorite show. You know, I don't know how many I've done now. I'm rolling them out. But I love this show. This show has been so much fun. I mean, the questions have been on point. And then, like, there's a rapper who's a really talented guy out of LA. Maybe you guys might have heard of him. If you have not, I would say check his music out. His name is Chino XL. All right? Chino XL is dope. Still performing out of LA. One of the more skillful rappers in the game. Never really got to that next level where he was kind of a national star. But people who are in the hip hop community definitely know Chino XL. All right. So I know Chino a little bit. I may have met him somewhere, you know, at a joint or whatever, but he knows who I am. And I remember one time I met Chino, and he was like, "Yo, Red, I was driving back to LA from the Bay, and I was listening to your radio show." I was like, whoa. The point I'm making is that you never know who's listening. There's always somebody listening. And my man Bebop Jones, you know, waited until he had something to say about Guru to add to the program, and he stepped in the dungeon. I didn't know he was listening. I don't know who's listening. But that's the fun part, because people are always listening. You never really know. And that's why I'm so appreciative, man. I am very appreciative of anybody who listens. I'm going to talk. But to know that people are taking their time to check me out and just listen to the show, to get something out of the show, to add to it. We've gone to a lot of different places tonight, and that's kind of cool. William says, I like hip hop, but my knowledge is not that deep. And that's awesome that your knowledge is not that deep, because presumably you have time to discover new music and learn about the culture. I'm going to say this. I talked about the last time. Dante Ross just wrote a book called Son of the City. And I went to Dante's book signing last week. And I know Dante, and I was shocked as hell. I hadn't seen Dante in about 15 years. And he remembered me. He was like, "Yo, Red, what up, man?" I mean, you know, I was somewhat surprised by that. We hung out in Manhattan. He took me and my girlfriend to a party in the Lower East Side down in Soho. And I met him out here. I called him. He's a big, Dante's a big time Yankee fan. But he took me and my girl to a party down in Soho. And we walk in, and the first person that I see is surrounded by like 3 women with Guru. I mean, the most low-key spot that was so much fun. And then he came up to me an hour later. He was like, "Yo, Red, I'm out, man. Peace." And that was it. But he has a book called Son of the City. And for those who don't know Dante, he's one of the top A&Rs probably in the history of hip hop. You think about everybody he signed. He signed ODB for his solo album. He signed Busta Rhymes, Leaders of New School, Pete Rock, CL Smooth, Del the Funky Homo Sapien, and there are others that I don't recall. But he wrote a book and has a lot of knowledge about his journey in hip hop and hip hop in general. So if you want to learn something, you might want to pick that book up. All right. thoughts on Lil Wayne. You know, Lil Wayne is an integral part in hip hop history because he carried hip hop when we were in a lull. You know, I mean, we're talking about the death of Notorious Big, Tupac. There was really nobody there to like fill that void, and Lil Wayne did. As a young person, he was the alternative to Jay-Z, if you will, and talented dude, man. I mean, different style of rap, but he's made more than a few songs that I like. And I can't say that I've gone out and bought every Lil Wayne album because I have not. But Spectrum, and he's made some songs that I definitely like. So big up to Lil Wayne, no question about that. And he gave me some really, really important advice without ever talking to me. I saw it in an interview. I was writing some songs, and I was thinking about writer's block for whatever reason. I don't know. I couldn't finish a song at some point, and I saw a Lil Wayne interview, and Lil Wayne said, he goes, "I never have writer's block." He goes, "I never have writer's block because the songs are in the air. All you got to do is look up and grab them." I was like, whoa! And ever since then, that just, I mean, the level of anxiety that artists have sometimes when they're trying to be creative, you know, I haven't had that in a while because I just always go back to that statement that Lil Wayne said. He says, the songs are in the air. Just reach up and grab them. Lil Wayne. Thoughts on Parrish, Public Enemy. No, both of them. No Parrish, talented guy, smart guy. Again, created a lane for himself. And Public Enemy comes from Roosevelt, Long Island. I'm from Hempstead. So we grew up about 10 minutes away from each other. I know that DJ Norm, who was a really good friend of one of my college roommates. So I know Norm. His name is Norm. And their producers, Hank and Keith Sharkley, the production part of Public Enemy. I used to play basketball against those cats all the time. So yeah, I know those guys. I don't know Chuck. I met Chuck several times. But yeah, man, Public Enemy is, you know, they're Hall of Famers, man. You know, what can you say about that? Top 5 rappers, old school. Father MC, Tough Rock, KRS-One. Hey Yes, I don't know what Hey Yes is. What is that? Big KRS-One guy. And Chuck Rock got a hit of hits. Father MC got a joint, you know, hey man. Hey, all good. KRS-One is one of the true legends of the game. A lot of people don't know, you know, KRS-One's brother, Kenny Parker. My brother's name is Kenny. You know, blah blah blah. Kenny Parker is a baller. Kenny Parker's about 6'5". I played against Kenny Parker in college. Kenny Parker is a real baller. Kenny Parker has college games and he scored over 30 points. He went to St. Peter's University in Jersey. Real player, man. Real player. A Millie's a joint. Yeah, I like that. Kenny Parker, what a great guy, too. I'm friends with Kenny Parker. Yeah. All right, man. Like I said, hopefully you guys have had as much fun as I've had tonight. This has been awesome. And I thank you. And one of the things that Kobe I'm gonna go with Crawford. Not because I have any definitive information, but that's gonna be a fight, right? That's gonna be good. That's gonna be real good. I'm gonna go with Crawford. What are you going with, T-Box? Let me know before I go up there. That's gonna be a good fight. Yeah. Oh yeah, going back to Kobe. I'm leaning Crawford too. Okay. One thing about Kobe Bryant, man, I met Kobe. I met Kobe when he was really young, and I had Kobe send a message to some players that I was coaching, and he goes, "What are their names?" It's like 3 or 4 guys. And okay, July 29th. Thanks, Bebop. And Kobe literally spoke into a microphone to 4 of my players that I was coaching at the time. And needless to say, I was a hero after they heard their names being spoken by Kobe Bryant. And I didn't have to get their attention anymore. Kobe's incredible. Now, Kobe always talks about preparation and practice and the reps. He would think, yo, I'm great. Yeah, I'm talented. That's not what makes me who I am. What makes me who I am is the work that I put in. And if he had any frustration with Shaq, that was a frustration he had with Shaq. Because Shaq was great. Shaq didn't always go as hard as Kobe. Nobody did. And he talks about that a lot. And when it comes to like sports talk or anything, this is how I try to do it. Because you can't expect people to support you, or you can't expect to be good at anything if you don't work hard. Working hard has nothing to do with talent. Talent is developed. Having a good work ethic is something that we all have. You can all pivot. So that's how you become good, by working hard. You know? So, I'm gonna do my thing, I'm gonna get out of here. This is my favorite show. Of all the ones I've done, Frank, you're a great host. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Peace out, William. I'm out, Frank. Be safe. Yes, sir. All right. Success and getting paid is a manifestation of the whole process. If you as an individual don't do things to help other people make their lives better, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't done nothing. We'll be doing another show real soon. Maybe tomorrow, maybe in a couple of days. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Peace.